This is Courage Barbell. I'm your host, Chad Ikes. On today's episode, I want to talk about the belt squat. There's a bunch of different versions of belt squats out there. I'm sure a lot of them are just fine. I actually prefer the winning belt squat. This is one of the early versions that we've actually beat the snot out of. Still have no problems with it. Works great. I use it for a multitude of exercises. But basically, it's a belt squat, and that's what I use it the most for. And I think the belt squat definitely has its place. I know my last job, I worked granite, so it's a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of bending over. I beat the snot out of my back. I was still able to come into the gym, get some heavy weight in, push, get some intensity, push some with some drive, some heavy weight. And even now I have a low back issue I'm working on healing up, and this allows me to still come in here, hammer my glutes, hamstrings, and quads without putting all that stress on my low back. The problem with the belt squat is I see a lot of people that I guess don't really understand what the purpose of it is, or don't understand how to do it correctly. And even though they're all a little bit different, there are some basic cues that you want to really look at. And that's why I'm here, to help you with those cues. One of the biggest issues I see is people leaning way too far back, people leaning way too far forward, people pulling up on the machine. You know, there's a point for probably everything you want to do in here, but most people, you should be using this to take a little stress off the upper body, really focus on the lower body. And if you're getting out of position and you're not staying in the same position as your squat, you're kind of defeating the purpose. I know I talked to Winnie about when he designed this and built this, and he worked really hard to try and get the geometry perfect so that it simulated a squat. And that really is like the main idea of this piece of equipment. It takes this, you don't have to worry so much about this upper half, but you can focus on this lower half. You can stress it out without stressing your back. It's a little easier. I like this one because you can focus on your rooting. You can focus on driving the hips back without having to worry about, there's not quite as many things to think about. So you can really, really just focus on those things. But again, you got to focus on those things in your correct squat position. So let me grab my belt here. I see a lot of people struggling with how to get in this machine, and I really don't understand why. I put the belt on, get it through my carabiner, and I use a locking carabiner on here. Now, when I come up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the hook just a little, not towards my heel, but in the middle of my ankle. I'm going to get my belt low. You want to wear your belt as low as you can on your back, again, to take that stress off of the low back. You want this basically low back and hips. Squat down, get in there, get your belt where you want it, and then come up. And now, you'll see the hook is a little in front of my ankles, but then as I squat down, it's going to go out and then come back, and it's going to be lined up pretty much with the very front of my ankle. And this is, if you do conjugate and you do dynamic squats, you always want to make sure your band is lined up right there too, because that's going to be a straight line up and down. So you want to be aware, where is the pull coming from? Is the pull way in front, or is the pull way behind? You know, if I stand up here like this, then this thing's going to pull me and I'm going to tend to lean back or fall back. If I stand way back here, then when it pulls, it's going to pull me forward. I'm going to have a hard time sitting back here. So I want it to be a straight pull down So right there for me is pretty good. And now the other thing is, I don't want you to have to think a whole ton about your upper body, but you still need to hinge like you're normally going to hinge in a squat. So right here, this is normally where I'm going to be even with a bar on my back. And I see a lot of people will hold on. And when it gets heavy, I kind of hold on too. But you'll never see me going like this, where if I let go, I'm going to fall back. You need to keep your balance, not leaning too far forward on the machine, not leaning back on the machine. So I actually prefer people don't hold on. Just like that. So I'm not coming forward and I'm not coming back on it. I'm actually treating this just like a squat. And even if you'll see me, if you follow my Instagram, I've been doing a lot of narrow work trying to hammer my thighs. So the same thing, I line up. When I'm down here, I'm a little bit in front of my ankles, so I should probably step forward a little bit. And then come down right here. Just like that. And if there's so many different designs out there that what you need to do is you need to figure out the design of it. I know there's some that have a piece that moves straight up and down. So you just need to make sure that pull is coming down right here at the front of the ankle. And in keeping your regular squat form. There's some other ones that pivot. This one has a little arc. There's some that have a bigger arc. So I always try to get in the bottom of my squat and see if I'm lined up on that ankle. And really, that's about it. Sorry. I'll try to do another video later. I do good mornings on this. I love doing rows on this. We do some tricep extensions on this. You could actually set it up to do curls. Like there's any number of things you can actually do using these belt squats. So they take up a little bit of space, but I still think they're worth it. I know for me, it's well worth making space to have this in my gym. All right, guys. Please like the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share the channel. Please go follow my Instagram. I post a lot of my training stuff on there. Just under Chad Ikes, I believe. Please comment on the channel. But hit the subscribe button so you know that when the new videos come out. And hit the like button and all that shit that I just said. But please do it. And I'll catch you guys next time for the next video. And I'm out of here.